What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joey Work back from Run Pure Bets. I know we had a little hiatus here with no UFC for a couple weeks, but fights are back next weekend. So you know what that means. I'm back, another impressive fighter. This week we got Top Gun Tucker Lutz. What's going on, Tucker?
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time. So first off, I know you're a young gun in the game, only 26 years old, but I know you've been fighting since 2012. So how did you originally get into the MMA scene?
Yeah, so I grew up wrestling. I started in the third grade, and it was my senior year of high school when I started training MMA. And it came up because I never really accomplished what I wanted to in wrestling. I always choked at our states. I'm from Maryland, and so there was a small gym. I mean, it was a Kamal Shallarus who used to be a UFC lightweight back in the day. He had a seminar going on there, so I went over to this small gym. Really liked the seminar, and then just started training. I think it was 2 months after I graduated, I had my first amateur fight.
Awesome. All right, so I know you fought two Contender Series fights. I know a lot of people wanted you in the UFC after the first one. So what was it like winning the first one, not coming home with the UFC contract, but then getting there a second time, winning it, and obviously getting you the much-deserved contract?
Yeah, so it was definitely not ideal not coming back with the contract, but the fact that I had the opportunity to come back was good because it bought me some time where I didn't have to go back to work and could just focus only on training. So it wasn't, you go in there to get that contract, but it was nice being invited back. It could have been way worse.
Yeah, understood. So I'm pretty sure both of those fights were without fans. So tell me a little bit about that. Was that like weird? Also fighting in the smaller cage in the UFC Apex, did that affect your game plan at all?
So fighting without the fans rather, it's definitely strange. There's something kind of gritty that I liked about it though. It was raw, like you're here in his corner, I'm here in mine, and it was a really intimate setting. Um, it's weird. Part of me almost prefers it. It's almost like a bona fide sparring session at that point. But I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question?
So I know it's a smaller cage at the Apex. Did that affect your game plan at all?
Yeah, I wanted to stay on the outside, or wanted to use my striking in the second fight, and I felt like I was stinging him, and he was going for the clinch. So I felt like just the distance of him being able to get me towards the cage was small. But at my gym, Ground Control Owings Mills here in Maryland, we have I think it's the exact same dimension. So I'm kind of used to a smaller cage, which is nice.
That's awesome. All right, cool. So I know you did just fight in September and November, but do you have like a target return date you're looking for, and maybe even a fighter you'd like to fight in the UFC?
Yeah, so these last two camps I had a bit of an injury. It affected me more so in the last camp. It seems like I got an MRI done. It's this pain in my chest. I got an MRI done. There's no tears, which is good, but it seems like I just saw my physical therapist today. Actually, it seems like it's some bruised cartilage going on. So I'm just kind of easing back into the harder training, doing multiple sessions a day. Just with the nature of how it's feeling, I think March would be great. I know there's cards the 20th and the 27th of March, which would be perfect timeline, I think, to where I can start really pushing it camp style. And no real call outs as far as opponents go. I've never been that kind of guy to be calling people out, but whatever gets me closest to that title shot in the shortest amount of time, I'm willing to fight. I'll fight anyone.
Awesome. All right, so last question. This is a little fun one I've been asking each fighter that comes on. I'm always interested to hear how they got their nickname. So how did Top Gun come about?
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with the Tom Cruise movie. I've actually never seen that movie. So yeah, I used to do golf course maintenance back in the day, and my brother Joey, older brother, we worked together. And I don't know, do you remember the show Comedy Central? It was on Comedy Central called Workaholics.
Oh yeah, so I actually interviewed all those guys on Workaholics before they were big.
That's
I
amazing.
interviewed them. Yeah.
I loved that show, man. It was hilarious. Just dumb stoner humor. But so
Yeah.
there's an episode from that one of the characters I guess he said that they gave him this hat it said Top Gun on it for like the best salesman or whatever, but really he just bought it at a gas station that morning. And yeah, I was talking with my brother at work one morning. He's like, that's got a good ring to it. And I was like, you know what, man, fuck it, I'll go with it. And that was that. That was, I want to say 2013 where we were messing around with that, and it just kind of stuck and has a decent ring to it. So
That's pretty funny. That's awesome little story you got there. All right, so if it's right with you, we'll get your thoughts on the couple of fights coming up in the UFC, including next weekend's UFC Fight Night.
Yeah, man. Shoot away.
All right, cool. So the first fight is Joaquin Buckley versus Alessio Di Chirico. So obviously Joaquin made a name for himself after his viral knockout over Impa Kasagaway. He is on a 2-fight win streak after initially losing his first fight in the UFC over talented Kevin Holland. He's a very talented boxer, prefers to stand up and bang. In his 12 professional wins, 9 are by way of knockout. For Alessio, he's fighting out of Italy, enters his fight on a 3-fight losing streak, all via decision losses. He lost 2 guests of the show, Zach Cummins, Makin Murderov, and Kevin Holland as well. So before that, he was 3-2 in the UFC since his debut in 2016. He's another guy who preferably likes to stand and bang, but I think his advantage here would be try to get it to the ground. Out of his 12 wins, 9 are by finish, 5 by KO, and 4 by sub. How do you see this fight going?
Yeah, so I'm going with Buckley. I thought that was insane. That's got to be the knockout of the generation, really.
Yeah.
And that's simply just because I don't really know who that other dude is. So I'm going with Buckley because he was a savage in that last fight, and also because of ignorance. So Buckley all day.
Sweet. All right. Second fight on the main card is Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Jinglang Li. So Santiago finally gets back in after 2 years off. He had an injury layoff. He was reeling at the time, and he was on a 7-fight win streak with wins over Court McGee, Zach Cummins, Gunnar Nelson, Mike Perry, and Neil Magny. He was another UFC vet. He was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 2 back in 2013. He has an impressive 27-3 overall record, 23 of the 27 by way of finish, and 17 by knockout. As for Lee, he's off almost a year layoff himself. He had a decision loss last time out to Neil Magny. He's an impressive 9-4 UFC record. 6 of the 9 wins are by knockout. He's a good boxer himself. He has some very underrated jiu-jitsu as well. Could look to leverage it in this fight. I'm very interested in this fight. What do you think about these 2 welterweights?
These are 2 people that I know. And I think that what's the Asian fella's name again?
Jinglang Li.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he has fought at 55 before, which is crazy because he's big. But I got Ponzinibbio all day. That dude is an animal. And I think people kind of forgot about him. You know, some guys, they get hurt, they take some time off. I think he's a huge, huge problem for the division. So I think that's kind of easy money on Ponzinibbio.
All right, sweet. I like it too. Next fight is Omari Akhmedov versus Tom Breeze. So Omari, he was on a 5-fight win streak last time out until Chris Weidman stopped it. Chris used his wrestling and basically his cardio to secure the 3rd round and win the fight. Before that, Omari had wins over Al Hassan, Tim Bosch, Zach Cummins as well, and Ian Heinisch, all via decision. He is 20-5 overall, 8-4 in the UFC. Tom, he's a very impressive victory last time out. 1st-round knockout over KB Bular. Previously, he had a serious knee injury that left him out of fighting for almost 2 years. He is 5-1 in his UFC career, 4 of the 5 being knockout, all in the 1st round. We haven't seen Tom really go deep in fights because he's been knocking people out in the 1st round, but Omari seems to fade in his late in his fights as well. So this is pretty interesting. Credit to the UFC matchmakers for this one. What do you think about these 2?
Yeah, so I watched the Weidman fight. I used to be the biggest Weidman fan when he was like on his reign. That fight was kind of sloppy on both ends.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Tom Breeze, but from what you've hashed on his stats and style-wise, I would go with Breeze. Do you know who the betting favorite on that one is?
Yeah, Breeze is about 150 betting favorite.
Yeah, I would. That's what I'm going with on that. And I think he could probably, if he doesn't stop him, he can just drag him out and kind of gas him out like has been. That seems to be Omari's Achilles heel from the little bit of footage I've seen from him.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. All right, cool. So the main event is Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. Obviously, Blessed Holloway enters this fight. He's off a split decision loss to the champ, Alexander Volkanovski. Personally, I think he won the fight, but we won't get into that. Before that, his only loss since 2013 was to Dustin Poirier. He has beat everyone the UFC has put in front of him. My guy, Frankie Edgar, Brian Ortega, Jose Aldo twice, Anthony Pettis, Ricardo Lamas, Charles Oliveira, Jeremy Stevens, Cub Swanson. The list goes on. But this guy's made a staple in the UFC since he joined in 2012. Before that, as for Mr. Kattar, he's off a win over Dan Ige and Jeremy Stevens. Before that, he had a loss to Zabid Magnum-Shapirov. He is 6-2 overall in the UFC. He's finished 4 of his 6. He beat Shane Burgos, Andre Feely, Chris Fishgold, and Ricardo Lamas. His last fight out versus Dan Ige was his first 5-round fight. Obviously, we know Blessed Holloway has a lot of 5-round fights, so it did go the distance. His cardio looked pretty good as well, so these two guys will stand most of the fight. Should manage to make this, as entertaining as fight as we're going to be. What do you think about the main event?
Dude, that is such a tough one to call, man. Kattar's a dude who I think has flown like way under the radar. His whole camp really has. One of my contender series, I got to meet his coach, Tyson. I'm not sure if I think it's pronounced Chardy. I'm not sure, but really nice guy. And that whole camp is full of savages, really. Yeah, I think I got to go with. And Max is such an animal, such a great champion. I thought not only did he win the last fight, but I thought there was an argument to be made that he won the first fight. But I thought the last one wasn't even. I didn't think it was a question. God, I think I'm thinking Kattar on this one. I think he throws more heat than Max does. Max throws great volume strikes. But I think he has the crisper boxing, and I just don't. I'd be surprised if this fight went to the ground. So I think it's going to be kind of a 5-round bust him up in the favor of Kattar. Who's the favorite on that one?
Yeah, Max is the slight favorite.
That's so tough, man. That's such a good fight, and no one's really talking about this fight. It is an awesome matchup.
Absolutely, yeah. I would think more people will just be betting on Max because of his name. The casuals, quote unquote.
Right.
I agree with you there. So, additionally, I know not on the card next weekend, but do you have any thoughts on McGregor Poirier too?
So my heart is with Poirier. That's probably my favorite fighter, Dustin Poirier. Back in I want to say 2013, I was training for my first amateur title fight, and I actually shot him a message on Facebook after watching his documentary, and he responded and was awesome to get that response. And ever since then, I've always been in his corner. So my heart is telling me Poirier, but I don't know. I just feel like Conor has a way of when guys get in the cage, they're like fucked before they even get in there. He's got that weird effect, kind of like Anderson Silva did back in the day, where guys got beat before they even started throwing punches. I think it's an absolutely winnable fight for Poirier. He's shown at 55 that he can definitely take a strike. And I guess that was the question of him at 45. He obviously was sucking himself out too much. We saw that with that Hooker fight. He took some tremendous shots in that. It's such a tough call. Like if I had to bet the house, but I think, like I said, hearts with Poirier. But if I had a gun to my head, I'd probably have to put the house on Conor.
All right, sweet. Conor is probably minus 260, maybe even 300 favorite. So
damn.
At that price tag, I'm not touching Conor. That's for sure. I'll be on Poirier probably. Right. Yeah, but just discussing. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, come answer some questions, hang out with us. Is there anything you'd like to shout out? Can you let our followers know where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Top Gun Tuck. I got a Facebook fan page if you just type Tucker Lutz in. Anyone kind of in the Baltimore DMV area, check out my gym, Ground Control. We got 3 locations, Rosedale, Columbia, and I'm mostly at our Owings Mills spot. So, yeah, roll through.
Sweet. All right, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. We'll definitely be rooting for you in the future.
All right, appreciate it, man. Be safe out there.
All right, buddy.
All right,
thanks again. Wow. Another awesome fighter, even better person. What a cool ass dude, and he's into betting like all of us. So you got to really appreciate that. Shout out and thanks to the man, Tucker Lutz. Guys, don't forget tomorrow we will be live betting the entire NFL wildcard weekend, baby. Let's go. Sunday, more NFL football. Plus Monday, we got the national championship game. We'll be live for that. So a lot of content, a lot of money coming your way from the Run Pure Bets team. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Go follow us on Twitter at Run Pure Bets. Follow myself on Twitter at Joey Work. Good luck with all your bets. I'm Joey Work. I'm out.